Darkest Dungeon 2 is infamous for beautiful narration, its brutal combat that punishes every action, and for how easily your best hero can spiral into madness. After contracting rabies, having a meltdown, missing 3 attacks and bleeding out. And now, of course, it's your healer's turn. Beating Darkest Dungeon 2 on the easiest difficulty is harder than talking to your crush, let alone asking her out, without stumbling over your words. This game is built on strategy, suffering, and a constant reminder that you're never really in control and the enemies are always ahead of you. So when I saw the final update for Kingdoms mode, Curse of the Court, I had one single stupid thought like I do with every other game. How can I make this even more miserable for myself? I searched everywhere for inspiration. Deathless runs, no rest runs, imperfect runs, but there was nothing. Not one person had even attempted one of these challenges by themselves. So I did what any reasonable person wouldn't. I decided to take a page out of Frankenstein's book and create my own unique monster. This is the impossible trifecta. For those who don't know, the trifecta is the attainment of 3 key achievements. The first, no deaths. If even one hero falls, the run collapses. The second, no resting, which means no recovery, no downtime, and no way to fix the endless stress, fatigue, and damage piling up. And finally, no inns lost. Inns are your only safe havens, the places where you upgrade your skills, buy supplies, and rebuild your team. Lose even one to a raid and the entire kingdom starts to fall apart, but for us, it's an immediate restart. Put all 3 together and you've got something that should never have been attempted. But of course, me being me, the trifecta wasn't enough. There are 2 more rules hiding in plain sight. The ones that make this run truly insane. First, beat it on the hardest difficulty. Every fight is more punishing, every decision more critical, and one mistake can literally ruin your entire run. Second, you must keep 2 living heroes permanently unaffected no matter how many times the curse spreads. Considering the fact that the entire kingdom will be crawling with the cursed by roughly day 10, and the run must be completed by day 45, this isn't just hard, this is practically impossible. Kingdoms mode takes place on an overworld map dotted with inns, camps, and dangerous regions in between. Your heroes move across it like pieces on a chessboard, facing enemies along the way, and sometimes the enemies come to you. Inns can be besieged, heroes can be injured or infected, and every single choice in this game does matter, even the relationships between your heroes. The goal is simple in theory. Complete the quest, visit key locations, defeat the enemies, and collect the items that will carry your kingdom to victory. But nothing is ever simple in Darkest Dungeon. Each campaign runs on a strict timeline, with difficulty ramping up as the days pass. On a usual average run, most players lose at least a few heroes, maybe an inn, or have to rest heroes to survive. But of course for us, we can't lose a single one. So I'm sure you're starting to see why this is such a big problem. A kingdom is only as strong as the people fighting for it, and in Darkest Dungeon 2, that means one thing: the heroes. Kingdoms mode gives you a roster of 12 heroes to work with, 11 base characters plus the bounty hunter. In Kingdoms mode, the bounty hunter is slightly nerfed, but the trade-off is that he's always available. There are also 3 DLC characters, 2 from the Binding Blade and 1 from the Bondage DLC. And look, I know not everyone likes buying DLC like I do, unless it's on sale, so don't worry, I've built team compositions for both setups. Players with the DLC heroes and players running only the base roster. The first team we've got is the Crimson Court, consisting of the Oculist, Jester, Flagellant and Leper, acting as your main squad for this entire run. This group excels at disruption, token management and massive single target damage. The Leper isn't actually just a wrecking ball either anymore. He redistributes tokens to your team while stripping them from the enemies, letting you maintain your tempo and deny the enemy their strongest turns. The Flagellant is the tank of the team, soaking up most of the damage and being able to easily heal afterwards while doing huge blight damage. The Jester adds combo and blind tokens and pulls in enemies that are strong in the back ranks. Meanwhile, the Oculist, which is running Ritualists, feeds the Leper a steady stream of combo tokens while getting his own tokens in the same process to make sure you can get critical heals off all the time, or even further damage. The second team, Vestal, Plague Doctor, Runaway and Highwayman, leans fully into damage over time control.
Plague Doctor handles Blight and detonates stacks with Cause of Death, while Highwayman and Runaway stack Bleed and Burn. Vestal keeps the team stable and with stress control, emergency guarding and clutch heals. This team exists purely to kill enemies fast. There's no real healing, so they're only used for early sieges or emergencies where raw damage matters most. That was for people who do not have the DLC. Team 1 is also the same for DLC users as well. So, Team 2 plays similarly to the non-DLC version, but Crusader replaces Runaway. He adds durability through taunts and self-regen, making the team safer while still supporting the damage over time pressure. Team 3 is another high damage early siege team. Duelist replaces Bounty Hunter since she doesn't rely on combo, and Runaway adds fire and light healing. It's still risky, but perfect for ending fights quickly. Now there are other systems in Darkest Dungeon 2 that matter just as much as this. Things like hero specific tokens, quirks and trinkets, but breaking down every interaction would just take an entire video on its own. So I'm going to try and summarize this. Every hero is constantly shaped by randomness, aka RNG. Quirks are semi-persistent modifiers that follow through each hero on a run. Every hero starts with one random positive quirk and one negative, and over time they can stack up to a limit of 3, replacing the oldest one if their additional one is acquired. You can manage them, locking in strong positives or removing the bad ones, but that control is very limited, very expensive, and of course never guaranteed. Tokens are the language of combat. Almost every action applies, removes, steals, or inverts them, and knowing how they interact matters more than raw damage. And trinkets can turn a hero into a monster, like an actual beast. In a challenge like this, mastering these systems isn't just about perfecting it and trying to do the best you possibly can. It's just about minimizing the RNG and controlling the momentum of the fights and surviving long enough for your strategy to actually work. Now the last thing, once a hero hits 0 health in Darkest Dungeon, they don't die immediately. They're actually pushed onto something called Death's Door. From that point on, any damage they take has a chance to instantly kill them through a death blow. Every hero starts with a 60% chance to resist death, but that protection degrades fast. Each hit they survive lowers their resistance by an additional 10%, making every follow-up more lethal than the last. This however cannot go below 33%, but it cannot go above 90% death resist through buffs. Damage over time effects are especially dangerous here. All DOTs and regeneration are combined into a single roll, meaning one bleed tick, literally just one damage, can instantly end an entire run that usually takes about 12 hours. At least for me for some reason. I think I overthink. Anyway, entering Death's Door also cripples the hero. They're weakened, slowed, and in Kindle's mode they gain fatigue, which lowers their max HP, making recovery even harder. Hitting them above 0 lets them escape Death's Door, even if it's just 1 HP, but the weak tokens still stay, meaning they are still vulnerable. Enemies do something similar to this, except for they have slightly different rules. Some have death armor instead, a limited number of free survivals, while others die instantly at 0 health. Execution skills remove an additional death armor, so your base hit will remove 1, and if you have execution 1, you'll remove an additional 1, ranging from 1 to 3. Enemies can regain these death armors if they are healed, so if they have removed all their death armor and they only need 1 more hit to be killed, and someone heals them, they'll get all 3 back, if they have 3 of course. Now that you understand how Death's Door works, let me show you how many times they knock on it. Get it? Because like, Death's... Sorry. I'm going to skip past most of these deaths for something I'm about to explain, but I do want to point out 3 that were just ridiculously unlucky.
Let us hope they find peace.
Now, I'm not going to lie, a lot of the deaths are missing, and that's because I did something quite stupid. I didn't label the majority of my recordings, and I thought to myself I would do it later, but of course I didn't. I know, a very rookie mistake. So I do apologise, but yeah, I won't do that next time. Should have just said that my files got corrupted, shouldn't I? But I'm not risking it. Yeah.
Fight on. There is no
I'm going to put another one just in case. Do it again. What?
Some casualties are to be expected.
Okay, for anyone wondering why I immediately sound so confused, you obviously didn't pay attention in maths class. This death came down to 3 separate checks. All it took was for one of them to succeed and I still would have survived. But of course I didn't. The odds of this killing me were just over 1%, and somehow this wasn't even the worst one. Whenever the flagellon attacks, it applies damage, of course, but it also applies blight to the enemy. But this comes at the cost of 10% of his max health, hence flagellant. I used that on Death's Door. He failed the check.
At last, the thing is finally passed on.
Oops. Okay, so we've covered bad luck, we've covered bad decisions. Now I'm going to show you something I didn't even know was in the game. I had roughly 360, maybe 370 hours at this point in the game. This character existed, but only in confessions mode from his story. I didn't know it was an actual enemy, because I had literally never once seen him in an actual run. Then my team encountered him, and I'm sure you've noticed that my team is actually different from the main one I've been talking about with Flagellant in it. And that's because this is at the beginning of the challenge that I started. So I thought this was a Kingdoms mode only boss.
The sum total of violent equation, unfavorably rounded down.
So yeah, I died on day 1. I'm sorry if I'm laughing, I just find this still ridiculous because I know what's about to happen. But let's see what happens on the next run.
You've got to be actually kidding me. You've got to be seriously kidding me.
So yeah, I had a really bad cold, which is why I'm not showing the voiceovers for these clips. I found him immediately again on the exact next run, on the exact first fight yet again. And you wouldn't have guessed it. Well, you did actually, I died. Huh, you look familiar. That's right, 3 times in a row. All on day 1, all on fight 1, so I was really unprepared. But yeah, I've actually just realised though, I haven't explained why this is so ridiculous. So let me enter my ranting era. Death doesn't just randomly hunt your party. Well, at least kind of. She only appears if the Flagellant is in your team. And when he is, every resistance counter, aka fight, has a 6% chance to spawn her after the battle. Hence why you see at the top right, if you've been paying attention, that she's been appearing on round 4 or 5 of a fight. Because I've just killed the really normal easy enemies on day 1 and then headed straight into one of the hardest mini bosses. Once Death shows up, she spawns with 2 gravestones that you cannot target, destroy, move, etc. She moves through them during the fight. And when she reaches the back ranks, she uses something called Trample. That's a full party hit that shuffles your entire team, stacks bleed and dumps stress on everyone. It's a really bad move basically. The reason why she is so dangerous is because she resolves entirely around bleed. She applies massive bleed, and as her health drops, she does even more damage to bleeding targets. Because she appeared 3 times in a row for me, all on day 1, without even seeing her before, I generally thought that my game was bugged. Because bear in mind, this is a 6% chance encounter, happening not only once, but twice, and then 3 times back to back to back. That's a 0.02% chance, or in a whole number sense, in about 1 in 4,600. Nothing is impossible, I guess. Now it's finally time for the run. Everything I knew, every ridiculous mistake, every bit of emo-ness will decide if this challenge is even possible.
The road is yours to travel, but you are not alone.
After completing the valley, which gives us our randomized starting loot, fighting an opening battle and clearing a siege, day 1 starts and we're given our first quest. Until escalation 2, every road battle is automatically scouted and replaced with cocoons and swarms instead of the usual enemies. With the item equipped on your stagecoach, visiting the Hoarder, Field Hospital or Assistance Encounters gives you fuel oil. It's important to note though that during Escalation 1, you want to prioritize fights that reward mastery points. Mastery points is just another form of currency. These help you unlock and upgrade your skills for the rest of the run. We do this because the enemies are at their weakest at this point in the game, and we are at our strongest. If you skip fights during Escalation 1, you're basically choosing to be under upgraded later when the game stops being generous and you'll be forced to restart. Once you bring fuel oil to an inn, it turns into Accelerant. Accelerant is a combat item designed specifically for bloodsuckers. It applies burn to the entire enemy party, and more importantly, it instantly destroys cocoons without letting them hatch. This matters a lot, but cocoons spawn enemies from the inside once they are destroyed, and these are vastly stronger than normal enemies. Using Accelerant also doesn't just make the fights easier, it's also how you progress the quest. To do that, you have to go underground into the areas like the sluice or the catacombs and use it on the cocoons. You can do this as early as day 5, but I recommend waiting until day 7. That way, when you leave the underground, Escalation 2 begins at the same time the infection starts. Once the quest is completed, you'll be given the our diphtheria blood sample, and delivering it to an inn is what triggers the Crimson Contagion. The curse's starting location is randomly decided somewhere on the map, and one hero immediately contracts the Crimson Curse in your first rank position. The next quest can only be progressed in Escalation 2, so spreading the infection earlier than that just makes no sense at all, hence why we enter the underground at day 7, because once we leave it'll be day 8 and we can continue the quest as normal. So instead of you watching every single interaction we had in about 5 minutes, here are the highlights of us gearing up for Escalation 2.
Tend the fires, that we may see this battle through to its haggard end.
If for whatever reason you don't have enough resources for both paths, choose leper first.
Facing oblivion, these folk have kept their honor.
The less flame you have, the stronger the enemies become.
Damn.
Day 2 was all about resources and restraint. We found a chest, pushed a layer to stage 2, and then backed out with even more loot. Before any of that though, the game decided to ambush us with what I'm pretty sure are the worms from Dune.
Humbled by exposure and neglect, this ramshackle inn is a welcome sight nevertheless.
Interesting.
As vital to serve. Blessings both.
Hello. You're right, it's not. How dare you be so bad at doing makeup? I mean, like, how long have you been doing this for now? You must have been doing this for a while, surely. And you're still messing up, like, mistakes like this. Honestly, it's just embarrassing. I'm, like, ashamed, honestly. Like, I'm embarrassed for you. So you got any more insecurities?
Shored up against incursion. For tonight, at least. Sweat-soaked brows, unsteady stances. Exhaustion takes hold. The Pale Rider has tracked her quarry. Analysis is the natural prelude to action.
I found Death on day 5 and I actually almost took her down, but then I realised Majesta was about to die, so I played it safe because I had quite good luck so far and just decided to retreat.
And it was a kill contract, and you get more loot from a kill contract. But because it happens immediately after a fight, with no preparation, if you run from the fight, you lose the loot from that fight. So I just lost a bunch of extra loot. At least I got my homosexual still alive.
I mentioned how relationships matter in this game, but I didn't mention that the biggest thing that affects them is stress. Stress represents mental strain, of course, and it builds up during fights and travel. The higher it gets, the more heroes start bickering, losing affinity, and sabotaging each other. Once stress climbs high enough, it begins to snowball. Negative banter causes more stress, which then causes worse relationships, which then makes every fight harder because it actually has a negative effect on your skills as well. When a hero reaches the cap of 10 stress in combat, there's an 80% chance that they'll suffer a meltdown, which, who would have guessed, causes them to have even worse relationships and even more debuffs.
Oh my god.
If you're a lucky bugger instead though and get resolute, then you get the exact opposite of this. I'm sure you've noticed though that the flagellant became toxic, and that's because he can't become resolute or have a meltdown. Instead, once he becomes toxic, his blight capabilities are accentuated, because why on earth not? This guy needs to be nerfed.
Collaboration confers advantage. but deadly all the same.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Thing.
On day 7 we head underground with our second team, and the job is very simple: blow up the cocoons and get out. The Crimson Curse spreads daily to nearby regions, altering and empowering enemies along the way. In infected regions, enemies spawn with different stages of the curse. Some hit harder, some act faster, but most importantly, every time your hero gets hit, there's a chance that they will be infected with the curse as well. Once the curse starts spreading, your natural instinct is to avoid it, which is exactly what you shouldn't do. Because this is the part in the horror movie where you face the unkillable threat, and somehow it's the correct play. Alright, back to business. The Public Health Notice quest now requires us to visit field hospitals in infected regions to collect research notes. If a region isn't infected, visiting a hospital in that area won't do anything, since the infection has to be active in the region. Each hospital rewards 1 research note, and collecting these is how you complete the quest and push yourself forward. 2 sieges also spawned in instantly. Travelling both on the board and in the region has slightly changed now, with the roads getting more dangerous with significant more fights and with enemies being significantly stronger as well. Inns aren't safe havens anymore either, since resting at an inn now no longer actually heals your fatigue if it's infected, and actually does the exact opposite. However, arriving at adjacent camps now heals 20% of your max HP and 20% of your fatigue, and de-stresses your character by 2 stress. So from this point on, we basically want to be ping-ponging our entire teams in between these camps to make sure they get a bunch of healing in between areas, since we can't rest the days away to heal. This is also why it's so vital to upgrade the barracks in your inns, since these will then spawn militia to defend the sieges if there's ever one that happens, and you don't have to worry about your team getting infected. So, with Escalation 2 active, 2 sieges breathing down our neck and the curse spreading daily, we head straight for our first infected hospital.
Behold, the great cities of man, ruined and aflame. Is your coach prepared for the upcoming obstruction?
I just love the Darkest Dungeon 2 soundtrack, honestly. Oh right, I've got to keep your attention.
Intended.
Yes, I am doing another montage.
Then apply. Deadly or cut down these nightmares and blaze the trail to your redemption.
Why do I have so many apple and cheeses?
Oh, thank goodness.
Why do I have so much food? So as we know, stress can lead to negative relationships. In this case, we got hateful,
Have claimed dominion here.
which means the hero has a chance to act out. Let me show you what that means.
Really?
Stress quite literally turns the bad relationships into friendly fire. That's it. Why is this a mechanic? Why is this in the game? There is literally a 28-minute segment of me just choosing cosmetics for these 4 characters. One thing I haven't talked about yet is combat items. You've probably noticed an extra skill pop up on my heroes sometimes. That's not actually a skill, that's a combat item. There are loads of them, kind of like trinkets and quirks, but most just heal and apply status effects or just set up things, like a combo token. The strength of it is that the fact that they don't consume your turn. At this point, the run just becomes damage control. We're juggling broken relationships, stress, and escalating difficulty, so I'm going to fast forward to the next moment that actually matters. Okay, never mind, I forgot how long these fights can be. I'm just going to cut to the next part that actually matters. This is the first of 4 research notes.
Joints ache and muscles burn. The body requires attention.
The next day we hit another hospital and grabbed the second research note. But nothing wild really happened honestly during these next few days, just really steady, kinda slow progress.
We can suffer no sickness on this pilgrimage.
Day 13 and we defended 4 sieges. Main team first, then the militia, the second team, and finally our third team.
The kingdom clings tenuously to order.
As you can see, the entire kingdom is now infected, meaning there are no safe regions left, or at least, safer regions. Every fight is now against buff enemies no matter what, so we can no longer take detours to weaker enemies if our team is for example low on HP or really stressed out.
Each covets what the other has, and plots to take it. Tonics, tinctures, and remedies. The science of hope.
These guys only have 3 skills on the melee units and 4 on the ranged ones. They're not meant to replace our heroes, but I would definitely not be complaining. I mean, have you seen the way they just walk through the enemies like this?
Let us hope to finish this quickly.
This is round 2 by the way.
Persistence will overcome even the greatest of threats.
Unfortunately, we can't bring the militia on expeditions, because if we could, this fight would have been a breeze. Instead, it's just the main team against this.
Death has come to claim her elusive prize.
We've already had to retreat from this fight once earlier in this run. Stress is high, relationships are fragile, and at this time, walking away would just make everything worse, because we would just be underprepared for the path ahead. So whether this goes clean or not, I'm committing to this.
Uh-oh. Where?
Judiciously. Incremental,
Oh no.
but deadly all the same.
Look at this. Weaken it? You better blind and you better miss. What? Oh. I hate when it does that. Ah.
There remains a foothold
What?
out of this mire. Now climb.
Oh crap.
Awash in turmoil.
Come on, lads. Heal. Huge. Right, we need to survive one more attack. If only I could attack.
Now I'm playing it safe just in case.
Empowered, emboldened.
Do not hit it.
Steady yourself.
Get absolutely smoked. Oh my gosh. I should not have done that.
Escapes the size
Oh.
of fresh.
Oh. I'm going. Oh my gosh. Why did I do that? Why? Oh my gosh. It took me another month just to get here. And I just risked it all. Why did I do that? It worked. But why did I do that? I'm gonna cry. We also got our last doctor's notes from a field hospital, which gives us the research journal, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Oh. So, 3 new negative relationships the very next day. Not great. But at least Death is dead now. Doesn't that mean I can't die? Day 16 was pretty quiet, except for the flagellant having his 1,000,000th meltdown. Seriously. These videos take way more effort than the average YouTube slop you've been seeing lately, so if you're enjoying it, an extra sub would help a lot. But only subscribe if you're actually enjoying the content, but if you're not, then why are you still here? Go finish your homework that you were just doing. Jokes aside, we can't afford to waste the day doing stupid homework, of course. According to the research journal, all the experts agree on one thing. We can't cure this without getting our hands dirty. So the plan is to secure an appropriate implement from a very ghoulish doctor and start the bloody research. This leads us to the, bear with me, Cherigian's table, I think, whatever, to talk to the doctor. Of course, he's already succumbed to the curse, so negotiations are off the table, which means we'll have to pry it from his cold, dead hands. But we'll have to put his patients out of their misery first.
A miscalculation, perhaps. Steady subtraction, an invariable result.
We're actually not killing this last enemy right away. He's going to bleed out on his turn anyway, so this gives us a free round to de-stress and stabilize. And this is important. If we wipe the last enemy but still have heroes who haven't acted yet, those turns carry over into the next wave, which means we can act before the next wave even gets to take their own turn. Basically meaning we get our own free actions to deal damage or get more tokens off. But we need to de-stress. At least that's what I'm telling you. I was so confused. I forgot we were doing this type of fight. I thought Death was playing me again. Shut up past me. Yes, I am fully aware that I am the one recording this and this all sounds very stupid. I don't care. Watch my montage.
Take heart and do not relent. Measure out your violence and apply it judiciously. A deliberate and methodical appliance of harm. Fight through the fatigue. The past is gone. Let it die.
This trinket makes the Oculus stupidly overpowered, because the Oculus' own unique tokens actually set him on fire at the beginning of his own turn. And since this trinket feeds off damage over time tokens and replaces it with regen, it basically means the Oculus now has infinite regen. We never have to worry about healing him, making him immortal. The Blood-Worn Syringe. This is a reusable combat item that lets us collect blood samples from infected enemies, which means we can finally start progressing the research properly. Up until now, our priority has just been surviving the contagion. But now, this is our first step toward actually fighting back the curse. Now, the game doesn't actually tell you who you need the blood from. While yes, we can get the blood from any infected enemy, we actually need 4 specific samples, and they all have to be resilient to the contagion. Now, as I just said, if we use the syringe on an infected enemy instead, we don't get a research sample, we get infected blood. And it's not useless. If one of our heroes is already infected, we can give it to them. It gives them bloodlust. This means more speed, more damage, and better stun resistance. Temporary buff for our heroes in fights. However, they are more vulnerable to bleed. They lose their chance to go resolute, and there's a chance they'll just forget who they're supposed to be attacking.
This is no time to falter.
So I haven't actually done this scenario before, which means I haven't really read into the hints and I didn't know where I was going this entire run. So I just decided to trial and error this whole thing, which you shouldn't do because it takes up a combat item and you can replace that, for example, with a healing item and it could save your hero, so do not do this. But for those who are using this video as a guide, you're about to see what blood samples you need to get.
Hold fast, for who knows what lurks in the beyond.
The first one is the creature den. You don't have to do these in order, by the way, but you have to draw the blood from a non-infected enemy. This is something I did not know at the time, and I used a syringe on the infected one and got infected blood. If you want infected blood, cool, great, do that, but it takes 5 turns for you to get the syringe back. So make sure, if you want to progress the story, use it on a non-infected enemy inside of the creature den.
The one pleasant in the extreme. This work is noble and necessary.
Next up are the Eldritch enemies. If the syringe can pierce Eldritch flesh, this is where we will get the cosmic sample. And you know, while I'm making this script and writing this down, I'm generally curious about how this would go down inside of the game. Because the guy just must walk up to the Eldritch and just like, stand still mate, give me your forearm. Yeah, I know it hurts, but this is for the good of the many, okay? And there we go, done it now. Alright, you can go there, mate. Actually, isn't your turn? Ah! My voice hurts now. I have no idea how I got that high pitch. I mean, I could redo it to make myself sound cooler, but as Eminem once said, you've got one shot. I must stop with the cringe now. I just wanted to point that out. Next, we need human blood, and that means visiting an assistance encounter. Assistance encounters are in the name. You interact with survivors, helping, donating, and inspiring. Or sometimes you're doing the opposite out of pure greed. But during this quest, there's an extra option. Draw their blood.
In this world, wealth is worthless without purpose.
Now, it doesn't clearly tell you which encounters give you the resilient blood we need. Sometimes you'll get the resilient sample,
An unexpected find.
and sometimes you'll get infected blood instead. Now, I did research this, but I didn't get any answers, so I presume it's just tied to a specific type of assistance encounter, or it's just a chance for you to get it. On day 22, we're actually entering a lair. There are 2 waves of enemies and then a boss. We can leave early and get some loot, but we're going to go all the way because, well, free will. This region's boss is the Dreaming General. And honestly, this is the exact one we want with this team. His whole mechanic revolves around the taproot. If you don't hit the root enough, it starts strangling your team and things can spiral very fast. But with our team composition, we can reliably hit the back line every single round twice while also hitting the boss himself. Yes, he does definitely hit hard, but that's what we've got the flagellant for. Yes, he stresses, but that's what we've got the jester for. And yeah, his main pressure mechanic just doesn't stick against us. The Dreaming General punishes teams that can't reach the back line, and we can, while also hitting the boss with both the Oculist and Flagellant. So his biggest threat is literally just turned off. A lot of his attacks ignore tokens, such as the Waking Dead, which is another move we actually have to watch out for. This move targets your heroes with the Soil Stirs tokens, and it inflicts a lot of damage when the taproot has 3 stacks. You can't really avoid this because you have to hit the taproot and it gets a stack whenever it's hit. It also applies a lot of bleed and stress, so it's important to make sure that you have a healer available, hence why we have Oculist and so many damn healing items on us.
Nice. Back to back crit.
So as long as you keep hitting the root and stay on top of the healing, this fight is basically a breeze. Alright then, from the top.
Locked in a nightmare slumber, he is tortured by failures both real and imagined.
Oh my gosh, he's got so much health. He had way more than I remembered.
Emboldened.
Ah. Oh, I did. And oh my gosh, just like that. He is dead.
Excellent work.
Why was I worried? Oh, I know why. Because I didn't want to lose the road. Oh my gosh.
An impressive haul. Put it to good use.
At this point, we are fully geared up. We have max stat upgrades. We have all the skill upgrades unlocked. We have the trinkets we want. We have the combat item. Everything you could ever ask for, I have right now. Everything I wanted, everything I needed, I had it all. I didn't need to prepare for anything else. All that I really need to do now is just finish the remaining quests. And not to spoil too much, but the one after the blood sample is really easy. And then a road fight happened. Just a normal road fight. I'm a fool. I love this game. This isn't Tekken, this isn't Fortnite, this isn't some other game where it relies solely on skill or just has a slight implement of luck. This is Darkest Dungeon. You could be the best player ever, have everything you need, and you will still find a way to hit rock bottom. I'm such a fool. I've played this game, this series now, for what, 8 years? Maybe 7? And I was still naive enough to think that the game would just be fair for once.
A breakthrough.
Whoa. Whoa.
This
Whoa.
is no time
What?
to falter.
Don't. Oh yeah, he died. What is...
There's 3 separate videos of me just trying to wrap my head around what just happened. You probably know what is about to happen. I just don't know how to write this in. And this is because this is something that properly bothers me. Not in a serious sense, but I mean it just seems so impactful that I can't write it. And I have to speak from what my heart is saying first instead of just writing it out and sounding scripted. I will talk about the numbers in a sec. This is why I love Darkest Dungeon. I was going to add this at the end of the video talking about this. But this is why I love it. You can be the best. But just like in other aspects, whether it's life, school, whatever, you can be the best. But you won't always win. Unlike other games or situations in life where you are the best, which probably means you are just always going to win. You know? You know, like that guy off Tekken who just can't seem to lose at any tournaments. I'm going to just show the clip. I don't know how else to put this. And just like that, 4 months of progress, gone. not to some final boss or layer or because I wasn't prepared or whatever, but because of something I couldn't even control. Even though I'd spent so long on this challenge, I tried to make myself feel better and excuse it. I went all the way to the end, and there was a final boss, and I did it all. I did all the achievements, except for I think one of them, and I think it's just because it glitched. But it just didn't sit right with me. Let's be honest, there's probably 3 of you here right now. Either one of you have clicked off because I've dragged this on so much, and you don't care that much, and I've lost your attention rate. There's the second lot of you who have sat here and listened and are still listening for some reason, even though I'm waffling. And there's a third lot of you who have just scrolled your mouse up or just tapped your phone and saw there's like another, I'm presume 10 minutes left of the video. I said to myself, I would give myself one more go. So, I introduced Darkest Dungeon 2 101. Oh, right. I actually forgot to talk about the numbers, didn't I? But now I don't know how to segue it. So, this is my segue now. So let's just talk about how unlikely that death actually was. Then we'll go on to Darkest 101. So how does a maxed out Oculus die in a road fight, but not the lair fight beforehand? Well, let's go ahead and break it down from the beginning of this attack chain. The foot soldier doesn't list any targeting priority in the wiki notes. So the assumption is quite simple. When he attacks, he rolls a die between 1 and 3. So for example here, he rolls a 3. And since the Oculist is in rank 3, he means that he will now attack the rank 3 slot and swing in the hopes of hitting. And then stuff like the tokens will be applied, both defensive and offensive. That means he doesn't have any health priority, no lowest HP logic, and getting rid of the weak character. It is just quite simply rolling the dice when it comes to him attacking. The drummer has 2 taunting attacks, and taunts are a really bad token to get in this game because it overrides the die roll that we just talked about. The second version of his taunting move is called Focus Fire, that specifically targets a hero underneath 30% HP. And of course, at this point, he's on 1 HP, that's definitely under 50%. So, the first foot soldier lands a hit just for the 1 to 3 dice roll and gets a crit, which is a 10% chance. Then, the second foot soldier does another 1 to 3 dice roll and it lands yet again on the Oculist, putting him onto death's door. And of course, the third foot soldier just dies from damage over time. Now here's the part that really matters. Speed. At the start of every round, each character rolls their base speed, for example, 6 for Oculist, plus a random value, between 0 and 6, with the higher total acting first. My Oculus is intentionally built fast so it can heal early in the round if it's needed, but once you enter death's door, you actually get a debuff, which applies -3 speed. This basically dropped his effective speed to a base of 3. The round ends when the last foot soldier dies, and the new round begins. The drummer acts first. Using his free ability, he immediately orders a guard on one of the foot soldiers. Then on his actual turn, he uses Focus Fire. Oculus, of course, gets taunted. Then a foot soldier acts, who has a base speed of 1. Due to the fact that the Oculist is next, it is safe to assume that he rolled high based off the fact he's out-timed the Jester, Leper, and Flagellant, and the other foot soldier. But because the Oculist lost 3 speed, he hasn't had a chance to heal yet, because the foot soldier must have also rolled decently high. If the Oculist didn't get this speed debuff, he would have very likely gone before this foot soldier, meaning he still would have been alive due to either his regen or healing himself. The foot soldier goes first though, and hits him on death's door. 65% death blow resist. So not crazy high, not the max of 90%, but still pretty damn good. And it fails. So when you actually stack these numbers up, it's about a 1 in 285 chance. Definitely not as crazy as past numbers, and it definitely isn't impossible. But really, like, I had just done the layer fight. I had just like gone up to the top of that mountain in that old Minecraft minigame, and then some bloke out of nowhere hit me with his knockback 5 stick, and I'm back in the water. It was like I just spent so long doing it, and then immediately went back down, and it's just I guess that's Darkest Dungeon in a nutshell, though. Alright, this tangent over now, okay? I'm sorry, I'll stop. Let's talk about the run that actually mattered. We're picking this up from day 18, because that's when I secured the creature and Eldritch blood samples, just like we did in day 22 in our previous run. On day 19, we get a scare while defending a siege. The Plague Doctor drops to Death's door and has both bleed and blight applied to her, and there is nothing I can do to heal her. I don't like it. But thankfully, out of pure luck, she just survives the death blow check. And we move on from this siege with all our heroes still intact. We also grab a stagecoach pet here, basically a passive buff. And this one stays with us for the rest of the run. Not because it's the best, just simply because I completely forget pets are a thing in this game. At the end of day 19, I made a really small mistake. I had been testing a different Oculus skill, and in short, it makes it so he cannot attack in rank 4. He was in rank 4, and I forgot I had swapped this skill in. There was a suicide bomber character I could have killed and I needed to kill, but I thought, oh, the Oculus can deal with it. I want to spend the leper's turn better than that, you know? I leave him alive. I completely forgot. I swear, if death shows up now.
Appliance of harm. Death has come to claim her elusive
Seriously?
prize.
I can't. I can't. I can. I'm not going. I can't. He's gonna go first. Can he heal himself? No, he can't heal his slot. Then go to the store, and then yeah, no, I can't. If he wasn't so low, I would do it.
Fight on. There is no way out or through.
I can't believe that. that was genuinely insane. I don't know how else to put it. I've gone this entire time. Day 19. Not once. That was...
The hooded watchers
Hey,
howl to their horrid kin.
And I was trying out using this instead. If I wouldn't have made that stupid mistake, I would have been able to kill him. Because I forgot I had this instead of that. Because I was testing this. Like, build. Can't believe I did that. I actually can't believe I did that. But hey, at least we kept the run alive. On the opening of day 20, we actually begin with a random event. The militia get a 20% bonus HP and damage and the possibility of getting a positive token at the beginning of their turn. This event usually does nothing for you unless you have to defend sieges. And we had to. We had to defend 2. And of course, they were a walk in the park. It did. Day 21, we secured the resilient human blood sample, and at this point we now have 3 of the 4 blood samples we need. The only one left is the resilient bloodsucker blood,
Unexpected find.
which we immediately get after defending the siege we were just heading towards. This now means we have every single blood sample required for the quest. Around this time as well, the run gets a bit interesting, I guess, because the flagellant somehow ends up in a 3-way relationship. He becomes amorous with both the oculist and the jester, and I swear he was amorous with the leper early in this run. I have no idea how this guy is pulling so much looking like that, no offense. But yeah, apparently the world is ending and this guy is just building a polycule. Day 22 and we take the layer and fight the exemplar. Normally the mechanic here is that you're supposed to kill the boss's minion before it reaches 3 stacks. Because if it does, the exemplar can use its special ability and deal a stupid amount of damage.
This is no time to
But at this point, our team is so strong that we can basically ignore the mechanic entirely. Instead of playing around the stacks, we actually just focus complete fire onto the boss and brute force our way through it. With our damage, healing, upgrades, trinkets and combat items, the fight ends up pretty trivial. Can you hear me? I've been That is so smart. I can try that. But I don't know how to be more weird. Stop recording now. I completely forgot I was recording, you know. During a different later fight, the leper actually lands an absolutely massive crit for 69 damage. Funny number. Funny number. Yes, 69. I'm aware I'm immature. What are you gonna do about it? This is my video. And if you don't understand why that number is funny, you should probably go give the phone back to your parents. On day 25, we run into death again. This time though, we didn't make any stupid mistakes beforehand, so the fight is actually manageable. There are a couple of scary moments, I won't lie, but overall, we handled it very well and took him down without even getting one of our heroes onto death's door. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That was like super bad timing.
Really?
Oh, okay. And now is it? No? Wait, what?
What can we
Why only
learn
try-
upon closer inspection?
Leper cannot do that by stuff functional. Nice. Nice. I know we can do this.
Sweat-soaked brows, unsteady stances. Exhaustion takes hold.
Like one of every token.
What man is he who defies death by sheer force of will?
That is going to be by far the easiest fight I've ever had with him. On day 26, we finally get the Purifier. This stagecoach item allows us to cleanse the Crimson Contagion from regions whenever we reach an inn or camp. When a region is purified, it also gives us a cure, which removes the Crimson Curse from a hero. But most importantly, once a region is cleansed, it can't be infected again. So at this point, the objective is very simple. Drive to the infected inns, purify the remaining regions, and then finish the quest.
The kingdom clings tenuously to order. Crush the invaders. This provocation cannot go unanswered.
I've literally only just noticed this and I have like 500 hours in this game, but the enemy literally just laughed because he missed. That is such a neat little detail. Thankfully, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, him dying.
Persistence will overcome even the greatest.
This is
of
bad.
What happened?
Like, this is actually really bad luck. I've never, like, I'm playing Darkest Dungeon. I've never got this bad luck with these, like, militia guys.
haste and
They're like all
carelessness,
nearly dead.
hallmarks of the unprepared.
Go to the front too.
That's not fair.
Oh, I missed. Okay, that's good.
That is good.
How do they keep getting criticals?
They're moist.
Shut up. This is not a time to be funny.
I'm just funny. Naturally.
Ooh, a critical.
Ooh, it's moist.
Ooh, it's moist. Okay, I think we're fine.
Yay! Look at this gigantic thing of salt. Like, we don't even have a shaker. This is all we have.
This is going in the video.
Sure.
Ah.
You know, we keep the sprinkles in the little box right there.
You know that the recording can hear you.
Oh. I will.
I am real.
He's not making me up. I'm not an AI.
Another
I'm not an
impediment
AI chatbot.
cleared with impunity.
What?
I'm not an AI chatbot.
Yeah.
Once
I'm not
more,
character AI.
destructions.
Don't put that in the video.
Oh, it's going in the video, right?
But will it be enough? What fresh provocation will the day bring?
With every region purified, the hive is revealed through the shroud. Entering the hide leads to the final boss of the Curse of the Court, the Archduke, a bloodsucker enemy, basically the big bad wolf of this entire scenario. Since this is the fight that matters the most, buffs matter more than anything else. Before engaging with the Archduke, you want to stack everything that can improve healing, survivability, and just positive tokens and positivity in general. For example, I've been personally saving restorative herbs, which give you a 10% travelling heal per region and 20% healing received from skills. The neat thing about these guys though, is they stack, and I was able to get 4 of these on each of my heroes before entering the fight, giving them all 40% extra travelling heal and 80% healing received from skills. Before the Archduke, however, we have 2 road battles first. These are intentionally placed to wear us down, so our heroes won't be at full stats going into the final fight. That's why it's crucial to stall when possible, managing your stress and healing up, and make sure everyone is fully prepared before the final showdown. I was unlucky. Okay, he did not like the fact that I made him move. Ah.
The fiend's strength dwindles. A miscalculation, perhaps. Lethal. A simple variable, easily resolved. On to the next. Persistence will overcome even the greatest of threats.
Before going in, here's the final team setup. These are all the skills, trinkets, positions, and combat items that we'll be using for the Archduke fight. I'm scared. This fight revolves around a mechanic called Blood Draw. If no goblets are active at the start of a round, the boss places a chosen target token onto one hero position. This token is position locked, not hero locked. So if the hero moves, the token will stay where it is. At the end of that round, the Archduke uses Blood Draw on them. It deals damage, applies bleed and stress. Also, it ignores taunt, dodge, stealth and blind. so it is basically unavoidable. After hitting the target, he collects their blood. If the hero is cursed, he gains a foul blood goblet. If they aren't cursed, he gains a pure blood goblet. In my case, only the leper is cursed. Those goblets determine which buffs and attack patterns he enters. For example, the pure blood activates the blood surges, which increases his speed and gives him an extra turn each round, which can get very messy very fast. Foul blood activates the blood thickens, which increases his debuff resistance and it changes his attack pattern again. Throughout the fight, he will constantly change between these two, what I like to call stances, because he can only have one of these applied at a time. Throughout the fight, he will constantly reposition his team with attacks like Severing Steps and Wasting Waltz, which stack bleed and even more stress. He can also summon additional bloodsuckers, which can make the fight spiral if you ignore them for too long. At least that's all I was aware of when doing this boss fight. Once I read the wiki so I can make this video and write this script, I found out those two more effects of the ability Invitation. The first one is that it cannot be performed if a bloodsucker has died this round. The second one, which is the more important one, is that it cannot summon previous bloodsuckers that have been spawned already. Since there are 6 different types of bloodsuckers you can spawn if you don't include the Archduke because he technically makes it the 7th bloodsucker, then you'll quickly realise you shouldn't spend your time killing each and every one of these, because that will waste too much time and we have to kill this boss fast. So what I would advise is that you actually keep specifically the Banquet character and pull him in with the Jester. This makes it so his moves do like 5 damage each time his attacks and it just isn't a threat. Now unfortunately for me, I got the Esquire, which is definitely one of my least favourite of the bunch. I could have spent time trying to kill this guy and eventually getting rid of him, but I felt like it was a waste of time due to all his dodge tokens. So I instead decided just to simply tank whatever damage he did. So the samurai strategy for this fight is actually pretty straightforward. First, if you have the Chevalier that gets summoned, you want to pull that towards you with the Jester, just simply because he's not a threat in the closer ranks. If you ever see the Supplicant to be spawned, you want to make sure you kill this guy as soon as possible. Well, instead of changing, didn't I? You want to make sure you Kiwi this guy as soon as possible, because if it stays alive, it can guard the boss and slow the fight down, and it can even heal himself. And that is just extra damage we don't want to have to chew through. These are the only 2 you have to worry about. Some of you may be thinking, oh, but what about the Banquet? And I still say you shouldn't kill him. He has a lot of HP that you need to chew through, and it's like a mini boss, so I just wouldn't advise it due to the time you need to put into it. The only real threat is the swarms that he spawned, but he can't spawn them, which is why you should just ignore him if he does appear. I cannot stress this enough. This boss is speed focused. He has a lot of damage over time and a lot of stress, so the more the fight goes on, the more likely your heroes are to spiral into madness, drop onto 5 HP and then die from like bleed or something. So you have to kill this guy quick. You have to Kiwi this guy quickly. Otherwise, you will just get overwhelmed and you will just start having to go, who do I want to heal? The leper or the flagellant? Because you will just get in a position like that eventually. So you have to kill him. You have to Kiwi him fast. As soon as you can. Alright, it's time. Finally. The thing I've been waiting like 4 months to do. Let's do it. How did the light go down so much? As long as it's but 50. Nice. Ah, why that one? Why you? The only one I don't want.
A breakthrough.
Beautiful.
Excellent work.
Brother, what's that?
Actually, what am I on about? For like 90. They are so not getting the Crimson Curse.
Well done.
Thank you.
Marks of the unprepared.
Ooh, my gosh.
Relief comes rarely in these
Uh-huh.
times. Savor it.
Nice. Oh no, the 5% chance. Oh, now he has less health. There he goes out. Oh, I forgot to pull him.
This is no time to falter. This
Ill.
road cannot be walked alone.
Oh wait, stacks? Stacks? Yes, I'll give it to you. Oh. Okay. Didn't even know that was the thing you could do. Next, you. So I'll give it to you. Okay, so I've obviously already talked about this, but I did say he couldn't spawn bloodsuckers that have already been spawned. I presume this is actually just bad wording, but I presume what it actually means then instead is that you can't, for example, get 2 Chevaliers in a row. I presume that's what it means, instead of you can't get 2 Chevaliers in total. I just think that skill needs a little bit of rewording, because I really thought it meant you can only have 1 of each bloodsucker. But don't worry, it's the exact same tactics and strategy, whether it's only 1 Chevalier in total, or just having Chevaliers back to back.
Agony by accumulation. Empowered, emboldened.
Oh, he's dead. Oh. I don't even know any militia died, but that doesn't matter anyway, it's not the heroes. Oh my gosh. I wish there was one where it said, like, days rested. If for whatever reason, someone is in contact with the developers of this game, please make it so they can add, like, here, days rested. And it just goes to Dark 3. Oh my gosh. That's how long it took me to get here. Just to do one more run, it took me basically 2 months. Can I put my webcam on? Oh, I can. Hello, me. I can't, like, explain how happy this makes me. Been doing this since, like, the beginning of September last year. And I've only just had the time to finish it now. I've been editing the video. Didn't even know I was going to be. I had a good feeling I was going to, though. I was still worried. But yeah. Now I can edit the rest of the video. Actually, if this has been added into the video is probably already done. Hi. Okay, bye. In case you can't tell, I've been... Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I was supposed to be closer to the mic or something. But I just did like a whole 10-minute yap sesh. I think there was a filter on my mic somehow. I do not know how. Anyway, I guess I can summarize the yap sesh now. But no, I was going to say, the game is very good. I really do suggest that you try the game out yourself. It's more of one of those type of games that you have to kind of play, and it's like, it was really difficult to edit because visually it's not very entertaining. But because it's like constantly 2D and it's basically the same image the entire game, it's quite difficult to make it look good and entertaining. So it's difficult in that sense of the whole editing. and also in the sense of having to explain everything, because there was so much to explain. I couldn't even explain everything, but I just didn't really want it to be a 2-hour long video, you know, and where it's like an hour of it is just explaining. If you do want a video that breaks down everything, let me know so I can say no. Because oh my gosh, been editing for like the past 7-ish hours because I wanted to get the video out. Curtains. Cuphead was easier than this one, just solely because Cuphead is a skill-based game. Darkest Dungeon does rely a lot on luck. You know, I've always been a big fan of the games where it's like, you can be the best player ever, have everything you want, everything you ever need, but you can still lose. I like a game like that. I'm really glad that I was able to actually edit this down, actually, because I'll do this a lot quicker than the last video, which I am glad about. I can tell I'm getting quicker at editing. The next video I make should actually come out quicker as well, because the only main explanation parts, I need to remember to say more words, explanation parts, is more just so the lore and the implications of the game. I'm doing something similar with a different game, where it's like you spend a lot of time on the game, but I'm gonna try and cut it down, you know? And while I was editing this, it took me like an extra 2 months just to do that one run for whatever reason. I don't want to be one of those people who like build up until the end. And it really annoys me myself. And I was like, if I was the viewer, would I be annoyed about this? Because I was annoyed editing it myself on a loss. No one's going to end on a loss. But I don't want to be one of those people who make you watch a video for an hour just for it to end on a loss. It just doesn't seem very good of me to do. And maybe I shouldn't spend 2 months dedicating to that as like towards this YouTube thing. It's probably the smartest thing to do since this is quite a new channel. I have had older channels, but I've never taken it this seriously. That actually just really reminded me. First comment I got on my last video, I'm going to show it up. That means a lot to me. It doesn't hurt to be positive. And I loved it from that guy. Or girl. Guy or girl. Whatever. Thank you. It means a lot. I will definitely never forget that. Also talking about that has made me want to remember another thing. I wanted to include it earlier in the video, but I was like, nah, I only want the other people that like watch to the end to see it. Look at what my girlfriend made. You know, I find that quite cool because she's very sweet. You know, I do love her. She's gonna go nyah when she sees this part of the video. In case you can't tell, it's me as the Crusader and her as the Plague Doctor. Because the Crusader is my favorite character, like lore-wise, visually-wise, and stuff like that. Please tell my girlfriend that she did a good job. You know, I still somehow managed to yap for quite a long time. Though I'm looking around the room like there's going to be some, like, thing that jumps out at me. I completely forgot because I said it in the older recording with that weird mic filter thing or whatever was happening. Yesterday was International Women's Day, so show your appreciation for women. But also, Mother's Day is coming up in UK, other places. I don't want to keep track of it in other places, so I have no idea. But make sure you get your mama something nice. And I hear a lot, oh, I don't have a mom, or oh, I'm not close with my mom, yada yada yada. And fair enough, it's upsetting, but it's appreciation for all mothers. I'm just saying, show appreciation to all the mothers, you know? Even if, like, say, for example, you're a dad and you're broken up and divorced, you know, still show appreciation for Mother's Day. It's not always just the kid's job. It's not always the kid's job of whoever their mother's is, just specifically to that mother. It's to all mothers around the world. And I feel like a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Anyway, yeah. It's just about all mothers. It's about all women and all men and all fathers for those celebrations. You know? Anyway.
I have no idea why OBS did that. It recorded it for literally a second and I didn't notice. I've literally just woken up, so please ignore my face. I look a bit bloodshot or whatnot. Wayne Jane, who is the narrator for Darkest Dungeon, both of the games, unfortunately passed away about a year ago in January. I think it was the 30th or the 31st. Is it even the 31st in January? I don't know. I've been a big fan of the series for like a decade, so it was really upsetting. You know, it's crazy like how much time has flown by, but I just wanted to pay my respects. Sorry, I don't know if this is even a good mic placement. I wanted to pay my respects to him. So rest in peace, bud. I actually started tearing up on my old recording I was just doing, or just literally 2 minutes ago. Yeah, it's already stopped. I'm not an emotional person, so it really is upsetting, you know. If you don't know from Darkest Dungeon, he was supposedly did some stuff in Dota 2. I've never played Dota 2, so I don't know, but that's what I've heard. Please ignore my morning voice. I'm really tired. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video before the other ones I wanted to do was because of this. So I was like, I wanted to do something. You know, being a big fan of him. No, I mean, I don't know him in Darkest Dungeon, but he really is like a core part of the entire game, and he will be missed. I just wanted to say my respects for him, basically. I don't know. I don't know why I'm still here, but yeah. I forgot to say moment of silence. I said it I said it in my head. I'm really tired. I'm gonna go have my shower now. Now you'll see my outro. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to cover. I'm trying to remember what I did. Oh, don't know how I forgot it again, but it was something like that. I can't remember. It was like, oh, was it a shotgun? I don't know. It was one of the things. Stats will show up here. I don't know. Somewhere. I can finally have space on my computer again. I kid you not. I'm going to have like another 150 gigabytes of space. I'm not even kidding. Maybe even more. I've been like riding on 10 gigabytes for the past like 5 months. Okay, well not 5 months because I had to get the footage. You get the idea though. I've had like no storage space. I am going to upload on my old channel that I used to have a proof channel because I did do it for the last one. I really should have. And it's just going to be the raw footage. There's going to be no sound though. I know I was on call with my girlfriend sometimes. You know, that sounds... I'm just saying that sometimes, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like, we be getting it up. No, I'm kidding. Secretly, it's just that, like, I was crying because I kept losing. Gosh, these stats have probably been on the screen for a while now, covering my face up. I just... am I on the wrong side? Am I on the... I don't know. I'm gonna make myself like a proper idiot when I'm editing this, but... Oh, well. I do not give... money to strangers. I forgot it again. How did I do this? Brush your teeth.